Hello guys, I am Arvind and in this session I will discuss list in Python. So let's get started with list. So what is list? So list is a collection which is ordered and changeable, or we can say list is mutable. List also allows duplicate members and it can have any number of items and they may be of different types. Means we can assign integer, float and string in the list. So let's move on to the next topic, and that is how to create list. So there are two ways to create a list. So let's discuss one by one. So in the first method, we can create a list by placing all items inside a square bracket and separated by commas. And in second approach, we can create list by list constructor. So let's open up the Sublime text and I will show you how can we create list in Python. So guys, I will explain you how to create a list in Python. And I told you earlier there are two ways to create a list in Python. And in the first approach, we can create a list by placing all items inside the square bracket and separated by commas. So I am using a variable list1 and this is basically a list of integers. And in the list2, I am using a list of floats, and in the list 3 I am using the list of strings, and in the list 4 I am using mixed data type in this list. So if I run this code, I will get the output like this. So guys, now I will show you how to create a list using list constructor. So we can create a list by using list constructor by placing all items inside the parenthesis, and then we can pass it to the list constructor. So moving on to the next list, and that is a list of floats. So here I am passing all the float values, and here I am passing all the string values, and here I am passing mixed values. Okay, so one is integer, 2.5 is float, and Python is a string. So if I run this code, I will get the output like this. So guys, moving on to next topic, and that is empty list. So let's go ahead and we'll discuss it. So guys, if there is no item inside the square bracket, then it is empty list. So if I run this code, I will get an empty list. So moving on to next topic, and that is accessing values in list. So as we all know that we can access an individual value by indexing, or a range of values by the slicing. So let's go ahead and we'll discuss these indexing and slicing. So guys, now if we want to access an individual element from this list, so we can use indexing. So in list, index start from the 0. I have passed 1 in this list 1. So basically I want to access an element that is at index 1. So as we know that 1 is at 0 index and 2 is at 1 index. So if I run this code, I will get the output 2, because 2 is at index 1. And now if I use 3 here as index, so if I run this code, I will get Python. And list also allows negative indexing. So if I pass -1 here, so it will give you the last element of this list. So if I run this code, I will get Python. And if I use -2 here, so it will give second last element from this list. So if I run this code, I will get 3.5. So moving on to next topic, and that is slicing. And for slicing we used slice operator, and that is represented by colon. So basically slicing is used to access a range of items in this list. So if I pass 1 and 3 here, then it will print from the index 1 to this index -1. So it will print from index 1 to index 2. So it will print this one and this one. So if I run this code, I will get 2 and 3.5. So now if I change the statement like this, so if I run this code, it will print a list of items from the index 1 to the end of the list. So if I run this code, it will print from index 1 to the end of the list. So it will printing 2, 3.5 and Python. So let's move on to the next example. So if I pass 2 here and run this code, it will print from the index 0 to the this index minus 1. So it will print 1 and 2. So now moving on to next topic, and that is updating list. So guys, now I will show you how to update the list in Python. So there is also two ways to update the list in Python. So let's discuss one by one. So in the method 1, we can update single or multiple elements of the list by giving the slice on the left hand side of the assignment operator. So here I am giving you one example. So here it is my list that has different, or we can say the mixed element, and here I am passing a statement, and in this statement what I am doing here, I am assigning 0 to the index 0 of this list. So now this list has 1 at index 0, and in the next example what I'm doing here, I am assigning 5 and 10 to the index 0 and this index minus 1. So in this statement I am assigning 5 and 10 to the index 0 and index 1. So now if I run this code, I will get the output like this. So this is the list 1. So I have assigned 0 to the index 0, and here I have assigned 5 and 10 to the index 0 and index 1. I hope it is clear to you. So guys, in the second approach, I will use append method to update the list. So here this append method will append this value to the end of this list. So if I run this code, I will get the output like this. So here 100 is appended to the end of this list. So we can add another list to this list. So let's add another list here. So this is list 2, and here I am assigning some values to it. So list 2 has 2 elements or 2 items, 10 and 20, and here I am appending list 2 to the list 1. So here I am passing list 2. So if I run this code, I will get 1 2 3.5 Python and 1020. So you can see the one problem can occur if you try to append one list to another. The list gets appended as a single element of the main list. So to solve this problem, we will use extend method. So let's use the extend method here. So now if I run this code, I will get output like this. So 1 2 3.5 Python 10 and 20. So now moving on to next topic, and that is iterating through list. So guys, we can use for loop to iterate through list. So here I am using this for loop to iterate through this list. So I is a variable that takes all values from this list on each iteration and will print it out. So if I run this code, I will get the output like this. So here we are iterating these values or these items from this list using for loop. So moving on to next topic, and that is membership test. So membership test in list is used to check whether a given item is exist within this list or not. If that item exists within this list, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So if I run this code, I will get true. So let's check for another value. So if I use 10 in list 1, so it will give false because 10 is not present in this list. So moving on to next topic, and that is length function. So guys, now I will discuss length function, and it is an built-in function, and the number of items in the list represents length of a list. So here I have 4 items in this list 1. So if I use length function here, so if I run this code, I will get 4. So this is basically length of this list. So guys, now moving on to next topic, and that is insert method. So guys, let's go ahead and we'll discuss insert method. So insert method is used to insert an item at a given position. So let's discuss the syntax of this insert method. So here it is the syntax of this insert method. And insert method requires two parameters. First one is index and second one is element. So this is the index at which the element has to be inserted, and this is the element which is to be inserted in this list. So let's open up the Sublime text and we'll show you the working of this insert method. So guys, I have a list of 4 elements, and in this statement I am printing it, and here I am using this insert method, and this insert method is used to insert this value at this index. So if I run this code, I will get the output like this. So this is the list before the insertion and this is the list after insertion. So here we got 10 at index 1. So guys, if I use index 0, then it means this element will be added at the front of this list. So now if I run this code, I will get the output like this. So 10 is added at the front of this list. So now if I use length function here, sorry, list 1, so we are appending 10 to this list. So now if I run this code, I will get output like this. So here we are getting 10 at the end of this list. So now if I use negative indexing in this insert method, so let's say I'm using -1 here, so it means this element will be inserted at the second last index. So as we know that -1 index represents the last item in the list, but here the value 10 will be inserted just before the last item. So if I run this code, I will get the output like this. So here 10 is added just before the last item in this list. Let me give you another example of negative indexing in insert method. So if I use -2, so this item 10 will be inserted at the just before the second last element. So if I run this code, 10 will be here. So now if I run this code, I will get the output like this. So guys, let's go ahead and we'll discuss remove method. So guys, let's discuss the working of remove method. So remove method removes the specified item. So let's open up the Sublime text. So guys, if we want to remove any specific item from this list, we will use remove method. So here in this example, I am removing 1 from this list. So if I run this code, so we are getting here 2, 3.5 and Python. So 1 is removed from this list by using remove method. So let's go ahead and we'll discuss del method. So guys, let's discuss the del method. So del method removes the specified index. So guys, as I told you, del method removes the specified index. So here I am using del method and I am removing the index 1 from this list. So if I run this code, I will get this list 1, 3.5 and Python, and we have removed 2 from this list. So let's go ahead and we'll discuss clear method. So let's discuss clear method. So clear method empties the list. So guys, now I am using the clear method in this list. So a clear method will clear all the items from this list. So if I run this code, I will get empty list here. So let's move on to next topic, and that is pop method. So guys, let's discuss pop method. So the pop method removes the item from the given position in the list and return it. If no index is specified, pop method removes and returns the last item in the list. So let's open up the Sublime text. So guys, we have a list here, and in this statement I am printing it, and here I am using pop method, and this pop method will remove item from the index 2, and I am storing this popped out element to the P, and now I am printing the value of P, and here in this statement I am printing the remaining list. So if I run this code, here this is the initial list, and this is the popped out element, and this is the remaining list. So guys, let's move on to the next topic, and that is count method. So guys, let's discuss count method. So the count method returns the number of occurrences of an element in a list. So guys, as we know that list allows duplicate members in list. So here in this list 2 is present 3 times, and this count method will give you the number of occurrences of 2. So now if I run this code, I will get 3 here because 2 is present 3 times in this list. So let's move on to the next topic, and that is sort method. So guys, let's discuss sort method. So the sort method can be used to sort a list either in ascending or descending order. Now this is the syntax for sort method, and this method can be used to sort list of integers, floating point numbers and strings. So let's open up the Sublime text and I will show you the working of this sort method. So guys, now we have a list here and I am using this sort method to sort this list. So if I run this code, I will get sorted list. So now if you want to sort the list in descending order, then you have to mention a parameter here, and that is reverse equals to true. So now if you run this code, you will get the list in descending order. So guys, sort method also works with strings too. So let's take an example of this. So here I have passed a string in this list and I'm using sort method to sort this list. So if I run this code, I will get uh, the list like this. So the default key method used by sort requires that all items in the list be of comparable types. That means using the sort method on a list containing both numbers and strings will raise an exception. So if I passed let's say 10 and 2 here and now run this code, it will throw an error. So I hope it is clear to you. So now moving on to next topic, and that is reverse method. So guys, let's discuss reverse method. So the reverse method reverse the elements of a given list. And moving on to next point, and the reverse method does not return any value. It only reverse the given object from the list. So let's open up the Sublime text. So guys, we are using a list here, and here I am using this reverse method, and this reverse method will reverse the element from this list. Okay, so if I run this code, I will get this reversed list. When anything other than list is used in place of list, then it will throw an error. So if I used let's say I am using tuple here, and now if I run this code, so it will throw an error. So we can't use tuple with reverse method. So let's go ahead and we'll discuss index method. So guys, let's discuss the index method. And the index method returns the index in the list of the first item whose value is x, and it will throw an error if there is no such item exists in this list. So guys, I am using a list here and I am using 2 at index 1 and this 2 is at index 4. And in the next statement I am printing this list, and here I am using this index method, and this index method will return the index of the first item whose value is 2. So here if I run this code, I will get 1 as output. So let's run it. So here I am getting 1. So thank you so much guys for watching this video. Just in case you liked it, make sure to hit like and subscribe button.